Welcome everyone, Unstoppable Stiletzi is here, and I'm here to kick off a new patch for Wars of Liberty. This is the Age of Empires 3 Wars of Liberty patch 1.1.1a, and the reason I'm here to showcase this patch is because new technologies were added to the game, which you can see right here in this little part of the changelog right here. It says 10 more Great War technologies were added, both shared and unique. On top of that, though, apparently they added a bunch of unique technologies for civs as well in the previous patch. We just never... I think I found one of them, but I didn't know it was unique at the time. So I figured today what we're going to do is go through every one of these technologies, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it to you. How good is it? How practical is it? And should you use it, really? We're going to see a lot of civs that do have unique technologies here, and I'm also going to go over the 3 new common ones that were added as well, because a couple of new standard ones were added. I already set up the conditions to be Imperial Age, like Expert. We're going to use cheat codes to obviously reach Great War Age instantaneously, so we don't have to sit there for like a million hours going through each tech. Alright, so as soon as I start up each game, we're going to do this special recipe. A whole lot of love. Speed always wins. Or most of the time it does. See, you get the techs come out quicker, training is quicker. So where we're going to check for this technology is actually at the supply depot. This is your unique technology, and these are the 3 new common ones that were added. So as far as the common ones were added, and let's get an oil rig as well, because we might need oil for some of these. You got wristwatches, culture unique units train faster. So for Austria-Hungary, that would be the flamethrower, right? Comes out pretty quickly now because we have the cheat code on, but if we research wristwatches, do that now. We need a house. We need a place for them to stay. Alright, so... yeah, it actually does show that it's faster now, even with the cheats on. You can notice it comes out quite fast at this point. And that's kind of important because, as you know, there are no really specific Great War Age unit training techs up until this point. So the fact that this exists now, and you can get your units out quicker, your unique one that is, that's quite helpful to you. And then the next technology to look at would be automobile. Trucks are cheaper and faster, so right now trucks move at about a speed of 6, which is pretty good. And they cost about 500 wood. That can get kind of costly, you know, that's more than a mill. After researching automobile, the truck goes down to a cost of 375. This is a lot better. This is cheaper than the mills, so you're going to save a lot of wood on each time you have to put a truck on and construct a new building. And the speed goes up to 7, so this thing drives really fast now, which is great for escaping enemy units. I think it'll even outrun a lot of the cavalry units too, allowing it to not get sniped by enemy ambushers pretty much. And then this final technology, which if you want to build like a saloon to confirm it, is simply this. Balance of power. Mercenaries are cheaper and stronger. So basically this is as closest to the thing you're going to get to the mercenary contractor in DE. It adds 15% stats to all mercenary units, and it also makes them 10% cheaper. So let's just see right here. I'll just build a couple of mercenaries. Ones we got. Note that some of these are outlaws. We got this is an outlaw, this is an outlaw, this is an outlaw. These are mercenaries. So the Horsejäger and the Guanya. Alright, so you see their stats, right? Really solid stats, especially the Horsejäger. Really good mounted skirm. And after we research balance of power, a lot better stats, as you can see here. a lot better stats, and this bot wants to attack me right now, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna roast him up. I'm gonna turn this Pro Stag Mine into a piece of gyro meat at this point. Look at how brutal this fire is. Yeah, I like these flamethrowers. They're actually really efficient. You get the job done pretty well. Like, I don't think soldiers all the time destroys my standard units, but the flamethrowers definitely do. So yeah, if you run into trouble, just use the Flammenwerfers. Yeah, definitely. But as you'll note here, you can see both the Guanyi and the Vorsager have improved stats now. That's probably why they're still alive. And also the cost has gone down to 405 for that, and then the Guanyi went down to 261. So if you like playing with mercenaries, now they're actually going to be relevant in the Great War Age, which is really nice. Managed to burn down my supply depot, so I'm just going to construct another one. So the technology for, we're going to have to use this code again. Whole lot of bonita. There we go, alright. Yeah, this bot's pretty persistent, so I'm just going to research it now. Basically, this is a team technology called the Central Powers, because, as you know, your World War I history, it's actually the Austro-Hungarians, through the assassination of Duke Franz Ferdinand, that started all of World War I with Central Powers against the Entente, right? So basically, reduces the cost of Great War for your allies by about 50%. 50% discount on Great War Age research for your allies. This means once you get to the Great War Age and you research this technology, your allies will be able to reach the Great War Age themselves for half price. That is a really good discount. And this could actually be a really deadly technology for larger team games, because that means you're going to have 3 teammates who are going to be going to Great War Age very close to the time that you do, whereas the enemy might not be able to reach the Great War Age that easily, you know? So just research that. Unfortunately, we don't know if it works or not, because we don't have any allies here, right? We can't figure that out without a human, so you're going to just have to believe me that it works. I don't even know if it works, but that's enough for me to believe it, right? So yeah, there's Austria. We're going to go through all of these civilizations now. And now that we went over the 3 common texts, we're not going to have to go over those again, which is great. So the next one is Chile, that got a technology, a unique technology. Chile's one is pretty interesting, and it's actually arguably quite powerful, I would say. At least if you're on a war map. If you're not on a war map, it's utterly useless, like literally useless. But if you're on like Caribbean, it could be a game changer. And I'm not gonna bother restarting the game either, so unfortunately you have to look at the broken textures. Sorry about that. Just don't want to restart the game like 50 billion times. Sorry about that. Alright. Whims. That's why, folks, you don't type with one set of fingers. It just doesn't work the way you want to. Alright, so I'm gonna put down this oil rig here. Put a supply depot down by the coastline. Bring another truck over here. Now that's the other cool thing about the Speed Always Wins tech is your oil comes out practically instantly, so you don't have to worry about that part of it either when you're like doing this playtest and stuff. For some reason doesn't want to build there. I don't know why. Why don't you build over here then if you don't want? There you go. Alright. So this is our Chilean unique technology. It's called Dreadnought Race. Increases your Dreadnought build limit by 1. So we're going to research that right now. Your dreadnought is your large battleship. So once you research that, you could actually have 2 of these, which nobody else can, mind you. 2 fully grown battleships. And if you're in a naval map like Caribbean, even Florida, this one, if there's a big fight on the water, this will win you every naval engagement by having 2 of these battleships fighting for you. You know, I mean, we could just sail it down right now and see if there's going to be anything to blow up. These things have a lot of damage, right? They do 2 splash, they got 140 crush, their HP is pretty high, close to that of a military building. You don't want to mess with these ships, and when you have 2 of them, that's pretty dangerous, right? You also got to keep in mind, too, that Chile actually has some reasonable naval cards as well, you know what I mean? So these are not going to be just these blanket stats. You can actually buff them up even further if you want to. Yeah, say goodbye, civilian. Yeah, that's a war crime right there waiting to happen. And can we attack that? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Tower's nothing. Yeah, this little outpost. Nothing can stop World War I level firepower here. Even as a supply depot. Wow. Yeah, this is... Oh, look at that. That's an alright defense. That's almost like tower defense in AoE 2. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, this gives you sort of an idea that having 2 dreadnoughts is quite powerful, actually. And it can do you a lot of good, honestly. Yep, you can destroy towers. Yeah. So, I think that sort of tells you what you need to know about Chile. So we're going to go to the next civilization now, which would be Japan. And I miss Malta very much, by the way. Hopefully they come back to return someday. That would be really good. Really good for us all. But let's stop remembering Chile, Malta for a little while, and let's move on to Japan. Japan has a really powerful one for Navy as well. Likewise with Chile, if you don't have water on your map, it's utterly useless. But if you do have water on your map, it's actually a really useful tech that's probably going to win you a lot of engagements, honestly, for a very different reason. And you'll see that in just a couple seconds. Yep, get these trucks out. Same recipe as last time. Supply depot. Oil rig. Put here. Take 2 of these trucks, or 3, it doesn't matter. Get them over there. And while they're doing that, this is our Japanese technology. It's called the aircraft carrier. Dreadnoughts can train fighter planes. You know what? Let's get a airfield as well then. You know, we could definitely use... We'll put it down there, actually. So it's kind of lucky that we brought the truck with us. Yeah. Airfields here. Shipyard goes somewhere over here. Let's get all these nice fighter plane technologies. This one, and this one. Yeah. Just so you know what I just researched, I researched one that gave the fighter planes more speed, better rate of fire, and one that increased its build limit. Yeah. Flight, yep. Basically, you get some really good technologies here at the airfield that benefits mostly your bombers and your fighter planes. Yeah, definitely pick those up when you can. To confirm that this technology aircraft carrier works, we're going to research it now, and we're going to pull out the Dreadnought. As you can see here, the Dreadnought can now train fighter planes. But for some reason, because of the way AoE 3's coding works, you have to be near the shore to produce the planes. Which I find a little bit odd, but it does work actually. So we'll go to the coastline now and just prove to you that this is effective. Yeah, you just have to get really close to the coastline here, and then, yep. See those planes going up in the air now? This is a really useful technology for naval maps. Why is that? Because one of the things that threatens your dreadnought as well as the rest of your navy is getting attacked by bomber planes, right? These planes here, these ones, the bombers. These are the planes that can drop bombs on not only your buildings but also your ships. So the only way you can really defend against that on water is actually fighter planes, right? You need to take your fire planes and shoot their machine guns at them. And normally if you're deep into the water, you're not going to have a lot of space to get this supply depot with an airfield on there. The only real way you're going to be able to defend yourself from bombers deep in the water is actually through this aircraft carrier technology by Japan, so you can scramble up to 6 fighter planes to start shooting down those bombers. Just a really well thought out technology that definitely considers deep water warfare for the player pretty much. So that's Japan. I don't think he's going to make any I don't know, I could look for fun, you know. We'll see if he actually built any planes. I've seen the AI actually make airplanes before. I don't think the AI knows how to use them, though, unfortunately. Oh no, he actually has anti-aircraft guns. Oh no, Mapuche actually knows what they're doing. Run. Yeah, get out of there. I'll bomb it. I'll bomb his, for a second. Yeah, let's bomb that thing. Pearl Harbor time, let's go. Pearl Harbor time, let's go. Yeah, you can actually do that. You remember that upload I did? Where I showcased the Pacific War between USA and Japan. That's something you can actually recreate now with this whole World War I level technology thing. Yeah, for some reason they're not attacking the anti-aircraft gun, which I don't know if that's intended or not. Seems a bit strange to me, but whatever. Seem to be attacking everything else. That's alright, Yeah, anyways, that's Japan. Very useful technology, the ability to make fighter planes from your dreadnought. Very good. So now we're going to be moving on to the Incas. Who actually... No, the Bolivians. Not the Incas. The Bolivians. Trying to remember, did the Bolivians get any techs? I don't think they got any techs. I'll just make sure. Because, you know, I did this yesterday. I just want to make sure 100% we get all these. I know for the most part who does have them.
I cannot imagine why you dare to challenge me.
I know Sweden doesn't have it, surprisingly. I'm assuming in the next cold fix they do, they're going to have even more unique technologies added and possibly some more common ones as well, which is going to be really neat. Yeah, these ones didn't. Okay, that's fine. Move on. Alright, so now we're moving on to the next one, United States. And for this one, I'm going to try to structure my deck a little bit different, because I need to show some specific stuff. I don't know, I could probably just take a deck like, I don't know, this or whatever. Any deck will do, and just copy, test what. And I gotta plug this PC in before it dies. 1 second. Hooray, we're still alive. Perfect. Yeah, I'm pretty quick on that. So for this test deck, what we're going to simply do is, I think, remove these, and, I don't know, get rid of this. And then we're going to put these ships in there, because these are kind of important. Yeah, that should do it, okay. Reason why we need some infinite ship cards in there is to showcase one of the technologies that the United States gets that's unique. That's right, because of the, you know, the United States overall civ bonus of having an extra technology. That means the United States actually gets two Great War Age technologies instead of one, which I was really impressed by. And even more impressed by the fact that the unique technologies are distinct, right? So it's not like two upgrades of one technology. It's actually two different technologies, one for water, one for land. So whether you're fighting on land or water, the United States does have a viable technology to work with, which is great. Let's get this out.
Alright, how can I help? On my way.
Get this. I'll also get a field barracks as well because we're going to need this for the testing. So, yep, the United States got 2 technologies. Number 1 is called the Panama Canal. Home City warship cards deliver additional warships. Extra units status set to obtainable. If we look at our water deck now, we see we got 3 infinite shipments here. We got the schooner one for 1 schooner, 1 paddle jumper or paddle steamer, and 1 ironclad. If we research this technology, and hopefully it works, because if it doesn't, that stinks. This should go up, right? So unfortunately, I don't think they added anything to the infinite shipments, it looks like. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. You know, I was expecting them to. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do this for fun. Let's try adding like a regular boat deck in it. Regular boat shipment in there, like 2 schooners, 2 paddle jumpers. Yeah, I just want to test this out and see if it does work at all, for like the developer's sake, because I actually didn't test this one yet myself for validity. And then we can look at the other technology yet. Yep, get these trucks out. We'll just research these to get some XP, yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, let's get this, field barracks. Alright, so let's go test what? These give 2, 3. If we get Panama Canal. Do these ones go up? They don't, so this has to actually be updated. Which I think should be pretty easy for the devs to fix, honestly. You know, Koreans get a similar card for land units called military examinations, so I think definitely this card should be an easy fix for the dev team for the next hotfix, I'm hoping. And this is the other one that works on land. Pedersen device. Soldiers shoot faster. So to test this one, best way to do that is going to be just build some houses, get some pop, and just build a large contingent of soldiers. And just show you how effective they are. Pretty much. Yeah. Alright, so let's just get a bunch of soldiers here. Want to get a decent formation of them. We'll get anti-tank gun and then vitamins to make it realistic. And just go forward. And I'll just show you what the rate of fire looks like in the sped up mode right now. Alright, so this is the standard rate of fire for the soldier. This is how fast they shoot currently. You know, definitely faster than your regular infantry. The guns work pretty good. But as you see, they are struggling a little bit because of the mobile armors and the marauders cutting into them. So yeah, definitely not the easiest situation for them to fight in. But still winning, you know, still winning. Awesome. That was a good fight. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some more soldiers in. And we're going to add the Pedersen device to them. And you're going to see right away that these soldiers actually do fire quicker. I tested this yesterday and it is confirmed. So this is the rate of fire now. As you can see, there is a slight rate of fire improvement now. Yeah, they actually are firing a little bit quicker now, and that means they're going to be able to take down even more units effectively. Quite powerful, actually, quite powerful. And this makes the soldier into a formidable beast, honestly. And something I found out yesterday, too, was that soldiers are actually supposed to be like your backbone unit, and you're really always supposed to be making them, because I always thought you could instead make tanks and other stuff, but apparently you do need soldiers for like every engagement now because of their anti-tank gun technology. Sort of made them the great equalizer for some of the heavier things. So yeah, this is a little fact, but that's the United States. Hopefully they fix Panama Canal soon. That looks like a really useful technology for saving resources, you know. Like, you'll be able to put your regular resources into the great warships. Right, and then you can just use Panama Canal so you can send, like, your earlier Navy cards, your earlier naval units from the home city instead, and you just get a good discount from that. Now we're going to be moving on to Bulgaria. Bulgaria has a really interesting, unique technology. It's not one that you would expect, but we'll see. We'll see. It definitely changes the way you think of things, for sure. And it's not necessarily a long-lasting technology, but it is a powerful one that can definitely bait and switch on your opponents. You know, it can trick them really well. Speed always wins, and Bulgaria always wins in World War I. Well, not in reality, but in this game they have a pretty I would say easy time winning in Great Voyage, definitely. So yeah, we're gonna get some oil over here. Yep, we're gonna actually just build a bunch of houses. I don't really even care about World War I units at this point because that's not the point of this. The thing I'm going to be showing you is actually related to some of your regular units. No, some of your ordinary units. And did they add like a new house type? Oh yeah, because the textures are broken now. They look like that. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. Yeah, just get 200 pop. That's what we need for this test to make it more interesting. Some more houses to go, and then we'll just get a barracks down in a stable. And this, by the way, is something that you can use if you're like sticking to mostly your later game units when you're playing as Bulgaria too, and it becomes even more of a shell shocker for your opponent. So what you do is you get a bunch of these Opalshenid units, right? You can get like 100 of these maybe, or maybe 75 or whatever. And then just get some of these as well. Opalshenid cavalry. And just keep making them. How many you think? Like 50 of these might be good. 2 more. And we can make some more of these. I might actually make more of the Opalshenid cab myself. So I kind of like the unit that's going to transpire from that. Alright, we're finally at, medium rare, please. Medium rare, por favor. Alright. I'll just make 2 of these. I don't care. So, this is the technology for, it's called, Balkan League. All Opalshenid infantry turn into Knyaz's Chikazi sailors, and Opalshenid cavalry turn into Vasilia's Chorofaxi. Chorofax, so... Press this. Boom! Now you got an army of sailors from Serbia, and you got an army of heavy infantry from Greece. Prostigmati. And this is a great way to trip up your opponent because they won't see this coming pretty much. You know what I mean? They're going to be thinking they're dealing with something completely different. And instead they're going to be met by a large army of sailors and musketeers. Very powerful ones at that, because the Chorophylax, as you know, were a 2-pop musketeer that has 16 range instead of the usual 12. So they can really hit enemies pretty easily from long range with their weapons. Quite powerful, actually. I think the Bob wasn't expecting that either. Bob's probably going to be very concerned now about his safety at this point. Oh, almost definitely. Yeah. So now let's free the Balkans, right, from the tyrannical Italian Guidos, and let's liberate it. We'll add a bunch of tanks in there. We can add some field guns. Yeah, let's save the Balkans, people. Let's save the Balkans. Get these tanks in there. At least we'll try to save the Balkans anyways. Saving the Balkans is going pretty good right now. All things considered. I hate typing with one hand, it's crazy. I need the other one to hold up the mic for myself. A little snowball one. There we go, alright. So yeah, we're just gonna add some tanks in there. We could just get a bunch of armored cars as well, which is pretty neat. Oh yeah, you could just get a bunch of these. Convoy of armored cars. Throw them in the front. Absolute slaughter, man. Look at that. This feels like tower defense almost, because you know the AI just keeps charging me and charging me and charging me because it's like gets like instant training speed on everything. Look at this madness of a battle. Utterly insane. It truly is. Yeah, can you actually win against an AI when you give them this? I don't know, actually. Good question. Or does he just keep running at you like that? Yeah, I mean, the problem is he keeps sending in cavalry with the infantry, and it turns into a really spicy game of tower defense, really. Yeah, like these armored cars technically need to go bye-bye once the cab comes, because they actually get pretty threatened by them, apparently. How many civilians are being lost by this war here? This is actually does look like a World War I battle, you know, a total stalemate, nobody's winning. People are dying on both sides, I mean, mostly on their side, right? But, yeah, get this armored car out here before it gets killed. That'd be pretty sad if you get shot by a bunch of muskets. Hey, I won the battle. No, airfield for you. You're not bombing me. Definitely not. Definitely not. But I think you got the idea now about this technology. The fact that we still have a number of the Sagchas and the Tro 5 axes still alive. Should tell you that this Vulcan League technology is actually really good. It's really effective. It really tricks out your opponents, especially if you didn't even bother to use the opal-shredded units in your game, because they're going to think, oh, why is he making a bunch of unupgraded units? Well, sir, because I'm going to turn them into a bunch of musketeers and sailors, that's why. I think occasionally it is going to win people games, because, you know, it's something that's totally relevant at the start of the Great War Age, right? You don't need oil for it, it just gives you a really nice early boost that you can plow your opponents with, which is really neat. Truly is. Definitely is. I think Italy did get a technology. I'm certain that they did. I'm very certain that Italy got a unique technology. So we're going to go through this one now. I know Canada did. Canada definitely got a tech. Tech. So like this. We're going to get an oil rig. Just for defaults. Yep, so Italy did get a technology. The folding bicycles. Persiglieri's gain 0.5 speed. We're going to need an architect to do that. Get some of these. Ciao, atto blunto sto per farlo. And this is pretty interesting because just like the Bulgarian technology, it actually affects a non-Great War Age unit, your Basigliaries, and is kind of a signal to you that you really should use these units when you're engaging with tanks and some of the more assault-tag-related World War I units. So yeah, right now you can see they move at a speed of 6.75, which is consistent in cavalry. You send the folding bicycles though, and it goes up to 7.25. So really fast, like they can actually outrun the trucks with automobile, which is going to make them a real menace to deal with that, right? Yep, see how quickly I can get out of trouble now with 7.25 speed? Makes kiting, if you can actually target the thing, it makes it easier, right? Yep. Quite powerful, actually. Quite powerful. These are skirmishers, that's why they're still not down yet. And this is the point of folding bicycles, to just give you a lot more kiting power. And the ability to retreat in a bad situation as well. Again, provided you can actually aim your targets properly. Turns into basically cav archers, pretty much. And I'll tell you from a game I did yesterday as the Ottomans against the Italians, Basigliaries can be a serious threat. Especially when your skirmishing, for whatever reason, has a malice against all shock units, which, you know, I thought was pretty cringy because the Basigliaries were actually winning somewhat against the Apis gunners. And that's in generally what you're supposed to use with the folding bicycle Basigliaries, so we'll just retreat them. I think that's good for now for Italy. Now we will move on to the next country's unique technology, which would be the Brazilians. The Brazilians got a technology. I don't think it's working currently, but I'll just show it to you now so you sort of can get a grasp of what it's supposed to do. Once it is working, it should be pretty useful. Has sort of like a one-time usage though, so it's a bit limited. Great War Age. Speed always wins. Wonder why that was stalling. And by the way, they did fix Brazil as well, so if you want to whip your slaves a lot, you can still get to World War I pretty easily. Because some people are trying to get that economic advantage with the gather rate, and then they would lose out on Great War Age. Now you can do it by being a total monster, so that's great. So this is the Brazilian technology. It's called observation balloons, or balloons, like basically recon. Essentially what it does is reveals the position of all Great War Age military buildings except the shipyards. And as you know, on the shipyard side, there is a technology that reveals all docks and shipyards. So that's kind of why that doesn't affect that. So that tech actually still has relevance. Even though I don't think that tech is currently working, technically. So I think in general, most of these reveal the line of sight of building techs generally aren't working very good. So I think the devs definitely have to get in there and take a look at that sooner rather than later. I mean, we'll try right now, after a number of seconds, to see, hey, is this going to work or not? Observation balloons. Was there a supply depot there, or did we do it too early? Yeah, looks like he didn't. Well, he had a truck here, so he was going to build something, but he didn't have a supply depot anywhere, unfortunately. So yeah, I couldn't quite tell when I tested before if that tech was currently working or not, but once it is working, that should give you a pretty good sketch if you reach Great War Age, if any of your opponents have Great War Age as well. Just so you can sort of focus your efforts on them, or you can stay clear of them and let them get distracted with another opponent. Quite useful for free-for-alls, actually. So now we're moving on to the Canadians, who also got technology. Gotta load them up. And the Canadian technology is more or less resource related.
I have foreseen a future
as you'll see.
War. Until that day is here, I will fight to preserve my empire.
Do the cheat code here. Alright. Put the supply depot down. And actually, we could get an oil rig now, and we can, yeah, because this is actually related to the assembly line units, so we definitely want to get that. I'll get the assembly line right here. So the Canadian technology is called munitionettes, French. Mechanized units have their coin costs replaced with half the amount of food. So instead of paying with actual money, the Canadians pay with Canadian bacon and maple syrup to build their tanks and their armored cars. Right here it says that it affects the field gun, the armored car, and the tank. Three of probably your biggest hitting units other than the machine guns. So we're going to research munitionettes now. And as you'll see right here, armored cars only cost 80 food now, which is a lot cheaper than the coin costs of, what, 160. Tanks only cost 150 food now. Quite a discount. Get a log cabin or two up as well, so we can get the two other weapons here. Yep, 150 food is definitely cheap for a tank, as long as you have the oil. Then it's quite a cheap cost. Field gun costs only 350 food and 300 wood, so it essentially becomes like a trash unit, you know? Which for this late in the game in World War I is pretty impressive, the fact that you have such good functional trash units to work with. And this should give Canadians a pretty easy time, especially in the early part of the Great War Age, to build some of these heavier units once they get their oil rigs up. They should be able to deploy lots of armored cars, tanks, and field guns to aid their soldiers, which is really good overall. So that's Canada with their really nice economic boosts related technology, related to basically saving you all the coin costs of World War I pretty much, except for your field barracks units and your Navy and Air Force, of course, but that's another topic for another day. Now we're going to do the Mapuche. And the Mapuche technology is pretty useful when it comes to deploying your shipments. As you know, Mapuche don't have a home city. They have to deliver their shipments through their war chiefs, right? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to get a whole lot of love here. Wait a minute. Since we already got a Mercado here, I'm just going to research. Wait a minute, I got it wrong again. That one finger typing thing just doesn't work very good. That's why you use two hands when you're typing whenever possible. Alright, let me just research that. Then I'll get speed always wins. Because in particular, there's two particular texts I want to research now. I want to get the Calhoun, which sends an Ullman, which is your mounted war chief, so you get 6 war chiefs, and then the other tech here that I want is the Koyang, which gives your council members 50% stats. So it basically beefs up all your heroes, which you see here. Now we'll get the Great War Age. Start working on that. Supply depot, and I'll get an oil rig. So essentially what you need to understand with the Native American civs is, for whatever reason the UI is really bugged for them and you have to research radio to reach their tech. Parliament of Kozkoz. Essentially what it does is it improves your war chief stats by 100% instead of 50%. So it basically gives all your war chiefs really good beefed up stats. As you know, you're not the Europeans and you don't get hero hit point upgrades through the capital. So essentially what this does is it ensures that all your council members or your war chiefs have enough hit points to survive World War I battles. As unfortunately, with some changes they made to the TC UI, you can't ransom the heroes anymore, so the only way you can hope to get any shipments is by making sure they stay alive more, right? And even though you might already be through most of your shipments by Great War Age, there are some shipments you can send that are infinite for the Mapuche. Namely, your crate technologies here for food, for wood, and for coin. And for the warrior war chief, you can still send one infinite Mawadanche, which is a really strong unit that you might want to send even into the late game because of how solid it is. So it's going to be up to you, but if you're still using your council members a lot to receive shipments in Great War Age, that technology is really going to help you out. Only reason I researched it so quickly is because there's this weird bug that I noticed in this current version. If you don't research the Native American unique tech quick enough, it kind of disappears at random or something because of some weird trigger. Hoping the devs can look at that, because if they don't understand this bug, then people are going to go like, no, they don't have a technology, I didn't see it. Well, you didn't research it quick enough before it disappeared, so you just have to make sure you research it really quickly so you can actually access it. Now we're going to be moving on to France. Actually doesn't have a tech, believe it or not. Maori doesn't either. Uruguay doesn't. Mexico does, though, and the Mexican one is pretty different. I'll put it that way. So this is the Mexican technology. Do that now. Let me do this. Speed always wins. Supply depot. I just want to see if this costs any oil to do, so you do need a little oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the oil that I need from this oil rig, and I'm just going to delete it so I can show you the tech itself and what it does. So what this technology does is that it affects the trading posts. So I'm going to build a trading post right now. And what this technology is here, it is armored trains. Trading posts are stronger and can deliver oil now. So it actually lets you receive oil from your trading posts. So if we research that technology now, it didn't affect the hit points for some reason, but you do get this option here for receiving oil, which they definitely need to update this because it still says coin on there. And as this shows, you actually don't even need stagecoach for this to work either, which is really neat. So look over here. I gained more oil, which is really great. I gained about 100 oil from that shipment there. Because I had 653, it went up to 753. So that part of the tech is definitely working, and probably the most important one, right? Because in general, if people are constantly burning down your oil rigs, you're probably going to be strapped for oil that you're going to need for your tanks, your armored cars, and your airplanes, and also some of your battleships. One way you're going to be able to fix that, of course, is using this armored train technology, so you can receive oil from your trade route as well. Which obviously you can make better by getting Iron Horse, definitely. Get that train going, right? Yep, goes up to 953. Then if we change this one to the, is this coin or is this oil? Yep. 100 more oil. Perfect. Just one more source of oil that you can utilize beyond your 5 oil rigs, so you can keep the tanks pumping. Really nice economic technology. So after that, we're going to be moving on to trying to remember who has the tech next. Portugal has the technology. Let's get the Portuguese. Portuguese have a technology. The Portuguese actually have a pretty interesting technology too, which can be pretty helpful.
I am Gustavus Adolphus, the Lion of the North. Today, you will hear me roar.
I can't remember the British do, so I might go back to check them real quick. If not, we'll just move on with the other one. I think we need a field barracks for this one because it's related to the... So this is the Portuguese technology. Soldiers are cheaper. Line B. Line B will make your soldiers 25% cheaper, so cuts down a quarter of their costs in both food and coin. It's a very expensive tech, though, in oil, though. Like, look, it's literally cost 5,000 oil. It's literally taken me a number of seconds just in the sped up mode to afford it. As you can see here, the soldier currently costs 100 food and 50 coin. After researching this technology, The discount brings it down to a mere 75 food and 37 coin. It's definitely a lot cheaper now, so you can mass up soldiers, right? But to be honest, for me, I don't find the cost of the soldier to be that serious, right? I'm more concerned about actually being able to make sure they queue up in sync, right? Because they take forever to train for whatever reason, right? I don't know, it's because of they don't get affected by fencing school or whatever. They just have like a really long train time that I've never quite understood myself. But yeah, if you're like strapped for resources, this can be really good technology so you can keep before in your backbone unit, which you're going to be using to fight enemies with, right? The soldier, yeah, that's essentially what the soldier does is he can fight artillery, he can fight infantry, he can fight cav. That's sort of how they designed the soldier to be like, right? Like right here, just a small contingent of them can hold their own pretty good for a while against even all the Swedish cavalry stuff here. Because of their insane rate of fire, their decent overall stats, their slight hand armor gives them a pretty good edge. And you can see here, even with all these random units, these soldiers are holding their own for a while, which just shows you how effective they are. So that's the Portuguese Line B technology for you. I'm going to check the British now because I don't want to skip over the British if I think they have one. Have a tech. The Peruvians also have a tech, but I don't think it's working currently. It actually isn't working currently. I tried yesterday and I was like, wow. Wow, man, that's a big bamboozle. A whole lot of amor. Speed always wins. So the British did get a technology. So it's plastic surgery. Field medics are transformed into surgeons, and surgeons heal faster. So to test that, we're going to need to get probably a capital, right? Let me get a capital here. So we can get immigrants. Probably easier than building a bunch of houses, honestly. Get that immigrants technology here. Great. So basically, we want to build a bunch of field medics here. These soldiers you rarely ever see in battles. They're essentially pretty good healers, right? Stats-wise, not that great of a fighter, but, you know, for a healer, 30 range attack isn't really bad, I would say. I mean, their pistol definitely does some decent work. Their HP isn't bad either. But what you're going to do is with, I'll just use this other one here. What plastic surgery does is it turns all these surgeons, these field medics into surgeons, and then the surgeons end up becoming more effective healers. So we'll do that now. Now they're surgeons, and now they have an improved heal rate. This does not mean, though, that you can train additional surgeons, though, without a hospital, right? So you're going to need to have the hospital card if you want to get more of these surgeons and actually make greater value of this technology. But if you're just looking for a quick heal and you're looking for a temporary healing solution, going for plastic surgery is a pretty decent option, you know? Definitely get that. Yeah, surgeons are totally not good against infantry or anything. Which is kind of funny because you'd expect these surgeons to pull up their scalpels and stuff and start thrusting them through their enemies, you know, because they're special abilities of knowing the blood flow and everything, but unfortunately these surgeons are pretty weak, so they're not going to do that. There is plastic surgery for the British. Now we move on to the Peruvian technology, which I wish worked, because it actually is pretty cool the way it functions. And it's not like a normal improvement, it's actually a trade-off technology, a subtle trade-off technology that you don't think of as a trade-off technology until you see it for yourself, you know. So I'm hoping the devs figure out how to fix this one for the next update, hopefully. We get this. Get carnivals here. I think we just need oil rig in this for now. So basically, this technology is actually relevant to the Guanera building. So you're going to need to build a Guanera for this to work. So let's build a Guanera on the water here. As you know, what a Guanera normally does is it acts like a factory on water, producing resources, and it also lets you not only upgrade your Guardian Marinas, but it also lets you receive turret ships from it over time for free. And you can obviously have 2 turret ships. So yeah, and then the turret ships in turn train your Guardian Marinas, right? So right here on the coast, usual stuff. So what this Great War Age technology does is it's called nitrate production, and what nitrate production does is it sets the Guanera to produce dreadnoughts instead of turret ships. So this is actually a trade-off technology, so you end up giving up your ability to receive additional turret ships, right? But in turn, you allow your Guanera to produce the dreadnought, which is your World War I ship. So you never have to produce a dreadnought yourself ever again, which for some people might be better, depending on what they need, right? Because as you know, the dreadnought takes up a lot of oil. I think like 800 to 900 oil to make, and a lot of coin. So if you care more about the dreadnought than you do these turret ships, which themselves are pretty solid, just go for this technology. Unfortunately now, though, it's kind of bugged, and it doesn't actually unlock that action. It just stops your Guanera from making the turret ships. So it's, instead of a trade-off, it's just a loss technology. So do not research that until devs give the all okay that it's working, or else you're not going to be a very happy Varingo. Definitely not. So now we move on to the Ottomans. This is one that I tried out in an actual game the other day. Their technology is a one-use one, but it can be pretty powerful actually. So we'll see that in just a few moments. For this one, I'm probably going to want to get the mosque up and get all those techs going. Get this going, yep. So what we're going to want to do now is get some houses up. Probably just need a capital to do the rest of this. And get immigrants, yep. Yeah, we need a mosque though to get. Yeah, look at all the villagers instantly popping up around the TC. That's insane. Like boom, 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 boom. So this is your technology. It's called the Young Turks, right? Remember, the Young Turks are the ones that basically saved Turkey from becoming a colony of the European powers after World War I, right? So what the Young Turks does here is you research it and all your villagers turn into soldiers. So let's research that. Now you got a full army of up to 99 soldiers. Unfortunately, I didn't account for this, so yeah, not the 99 soldiers I wanted. But in general, what you're supposed to do with this tech is, it's almost like a mini revolution that you can use to throw your enemy off militarily and throw 100 soldiers right at them beyond the normal amount of stuff that you usually have. So I guess we could pick up a field barracks and get the technologies for soldiers here, the anti-tank gun and the vitamins. And as you can see, springing up to 75 or 99 soldiers at your enemy out of nowhere can definitely change the way a battle goes. And in a realistic skirmish wherein somebody's trying to defend one flank and they're doing it very poorly, you can throw these 99 troops from another side, and that can be really good for just domineering against your opponent with a much larger army. The only consequence of this action is, of course, that you lose all your villagers, but as the Ottomans, it's not that big of a deal, because your town centers, of course, produce villagers automatically, so you don't have to handle that action yourself. The town centers will do it for you. You just have to make sure you have the viable population space for those villagers to be produced in. Pretty much, yeah. But as you can see here, just doing this little test against an AI, 100 soldiers can make a big difference, right? They can wipe out cannons, they can wipe out infantry. You can micro them pretty good to take out a large variety of soldiers for a good amount of time before they get mowed down. I think if we got the full amount of soldiers out of this tech, the full 99, we'd probably be doing even better at this point. Now, this is where the soldier really does its best, is just sniping artillery like that. You know how many resources this bot just lost to, you know, the soldiers? Quite a lot, actually, and far more than the cost that you put in to get the soldiers up here. I actually did have some soldiers left over from over here, though, so yeah. But anyways, that's the Young Turks for the Ottomans. A pretty good finisher, if you want to call it that, or a good way to throw your enemy off, which I tried to do last game, but sadly it wasn't as useful as at that time that I wanted it to be, so yeah, there's that. So this one, for the Lakota, this is a pretty spicy one, and I don't know how powerful it is yet until I do it against somebody. If you do it the right way, this can be a pretty serious trick you can do to your opponents. For some reason the game is acting wacky and loading funny. Huh, that's strange. Lakota are acting weird. Home city seems to be. Is this alright? Council is priority with supplies to find a new village. Yeah, I might just restart this game. 1 second. 1 second. Game's acting a little weird. Swore this was working the other day. I don't know what's going on with my Lakota city. If it does it again, I'll probably just tell you what the tech does. But I don't think we're going to need to do that, you know. Alright, so here we go. Map should be good because I did it the other day. Might have been the AI that I was fighting against, maybe. Ivan should definitely work though here, so I don't think we have problems with him. Alright, yeah, so we're good now. So actually what we're going to do first is we're going to make a bunch of units, which thankfully for the Lakota, you know, they start with 200 pops. So this is actually not going to be too much of a pain to deal with. And we're going to want to make a variety of units here, if possible. Yep, definitely. Let's make 25 villagers, perhaps. Yeah, just get a bunch of villies in there. Reason why we're doing that is maybe as a show I will actually try to make some dog soldiers for you. Get all them in here. More Tokawa soldiers, whatever you want to call them.
Money.
Yep. Let's see if we can. In the meantime, I'm going to make some Wakina rifles. I'm going to make some Setan bowmen. I'm going to make some war clubs. I'm going to make some axe riders. I'm going to make some bow riders. I'm going to make some rifle riders. I'm going to make some Tsushunki prowlers. I want to make every sort of unit under the sun, if possible, for Lakota. And that's sort of the goal here. And while we're waiting, well, we could actually use this deck just so I can get some more dog soldiers out really quickly. I'll make some more war clubs here, get some more rifle riders, some more Setans, some axe riders over here, bow riders. I want to max out my pop as much as possible to basically showcase this ability off to you really well. We actually need more resources for this, but that's okay. Let me just get some more troops up really quickly. I'll just put my warrior dance on for fun. Alright, so now I'm going to get my trucks going here. My supply depot and my oil rig. So this is the Lakota power. Basically what it does is it forced assimilation. And most units transform into their Great War equivalent, so we'll try it right now. Essentially, all your skirmish units, so your C-10 bowmen and your Wakina rifles turn into snipers. Your war clubs turn into soldiers. All your mounted units from the corral turn into armored cars. And your dog soldiers turn into tanks. This is a really nasty, bonkers ability if you abuse it really good with the right units. Like, let's say you have 50 dog soldiers on the map. Well, what you end up doing is you end up spawning yourself in an unusually large army of tanks that you normally wouldn't be able to access in a normal game, because tanks is, you know, a 5-pop unit and your dog soldier is a 3-pop unit, so you can actually field more tanks than you normally could. Likewise with the armored cars, you know. Most of your corral units here are, actually they're all 2-pop units, so you can field a larger army of armored cars than you normally would. Same thing with the Warhut, you know, the sniper is a 2-pop unit, so you can have double the snipers you normally could, and this could basically win you the game instantly, depending on if it's a team one, depending on the civ. This is actually a really nice little bonus that you can use to field yourself a really nice advantage overall. And we'll just show you right here how big this army truly is. Snipers, soldiers, armored cars, and tanks working in unison here. Can they defend this little Lakota village, you know? Probably something they wish they had when the American cavalry went into there for sure. This armored car plowing in here. Yeah, absolutely good work here for sure. Machine guns working in unison with the infantry. Yep, they can fully defend that. And for fun, let's just push forward at the enemy base too and see what happens with this big army. You know what I mean? Because imagine this is you in an actual skirmish and you're using this forced assimilation ability to give yourself a really wide edge over your opponent. This is your opponent here just trying to scramble to defend against it. You know, all these machine guns from the tanks and the armored cars are definitely going to be good for spraying down the cav units with. As well as your snipers being able to sit there in the back and take out their falconets, take out their heavy cannons, or their steel guns and their foot artillery, their colts, all that. So this is going to be generally a really good ability for you. As you can see here, just this army here is enough to spray down lots and lots of stuff. And one thing I don't test enough of, which I probably should with Great War Age, is seeing how much does the fire pit actually affect Great War Age, right? Because as you know, the fire pit has the warrior dance, which increases the attack of your units. So what happens if we use that to actually make your tanks and your armored cars actually hit even harder, and your snipers? You know, and also for the pods, their population dance, right, that lets you field larger population, how does that impact when we add more and more tanks into your army at that point? As you can see right here though, this starting army here, absolutely bonkers and takes out unit after unit after unit here. And this army here can barely even, you know, defend at this point. We're going to send and move these up even further. And he's just saying Cossack armies at us at this point. Endless Cossacks. Just trying to plow into them. I don't know why the bot's doing that. Maybe it doesn't understand exactly how to take out armored cars or any of these units. But I think the bot just thinks at this point that Cossack spamming with the infinite nuka shipping is probably enough here, which probably it isn't, you know. Also made some Frontovics as well. I saw some Cantonists before too. Also making the Acronics. Now the Acronics, they're actually not that great here because we don't have any siege units per se, so they're not gonna, unless the tank is, wait a minute, the tank, oh yeah, the tank and the armored car gets the artillery tag, so yeah, these actually are kind of, Acronics are kind of good here. So yeah, that's definitely gonna make a big difference. Fortunately, our army's starting to get slowly overpowered here. Oh no, the enemy is sending in fighter and bomber planes. Does the AI know yet how to use these things though? Because right now he seems to just be, I'm curious, like if we move back, right? Does the bot actually know how to lock onto a building with the fighter plane? Because if it does, that would actually be kind of interesting, you know. We'll see. Oh wow, they fixed the bomber plane. The bomber planes actually work now and try to bomb your buildings. See that? He just shot one of those shells into my building. This is really neat. And what you can actually see here is you can actually see the Russian flag on the side of the plane too, the white and the blue and the red stripe on it. Really powerful weapon here. So yeah, that's the forced assimilation tech of the Lakota. Now we move ourselves on to Koreans, who actually also got technology here. I don't think it's the toughest technology, but it certainly can be good, depending on how you look at it. I think it's harder to see the good of it when you're doing these sped up trial runs here. Yeah, definitely, but you can be the judge of that when we do it. Speed always wins. Let me do that. Get a supply depot, get a oil rig. So this is the Korean technology. It's called the March 1st movement. Home city shipments arrive faster. So there's a reason why I don't really like this one too much in terms of value, because you already get a technology called radio, which shipments arrive instantly. So the point of this tech here for making the home city shipments arrive faster basically means that your shipments arrive actually instantly, not 95% faster, but over 100% faster. So right now, if we want to look at the home city and see a shipment in real time with radio, this is how fast the shipment researches. If we get the March 1st movement on top of that, we'll just build a house here or something. This is how fast the shipment arrives now. So literally instantly, so it did make a difference, but my thing is, I think radio itself is enough. Why get the March 1st movement? Because all it's doing is just saving you like maybe 1 or 2 additional seconds at most. But I suppose in like a really deep fight and one where you're trying to send like large infinite shipments of stuff like Coaches, maybe it makes a difference. But you can be the judge of that yourself if you feel like this really simple tech can actually do anything for you. Now we're going to be going on to the Indians. The Indians actually get a really Civ specific technology that helps them out quite a bit, and was far more powerful when I used it in an actual multiplayer game. So we'll see that right now. And kind of the cool thing of the Indian tech as well is it actually benefits your non-Great War Age army as well, which is really neat. Speed always wins. Yep. This. We get an oil rig. Get a field barracks. Get a bunch of regular stuff as well. Immigrants. We get barracks and a stable here. Maybe even a mound castle. A castle might be good too. Caravanserai. And this is the technology. It's called Independence Movement. Enables Mansabdar units at your field barracks. And by Mansabdar, it literally gives you all access to all the Mansabdars. So it gives you access to not only the ones you get from the Shamanar Gate, but also the Mansabdar Arumi as well. That means if you have a late game deck like this that has the Arumi, you can ship the Arumi in, get 9 Arumi, and then send in one of your Arumi Mansabdars here, and now you got yourself a nice boost for the rest of your Arumi units now. Likewise for Sepoys, Rajputs, Gurks, Sambaraks, Sawar, Mahout, all these other units, you get the access to their Mansabdars as well. So yeah, you can get this. Basically all the Mansabdars, pretty much, and that leads to a much more efficient army for you that you can use to boost yourself up with. And even without all the necessary upgrades, you're just going to be fighting a lot better now. And that for this reason, if you're playing as India, Make sure that you have some forward villagers as well to build barracks, as well as caravanserais and castles. So you can actually buff up your very slow training World War I army with these faster training standard Indian units. They're going to be boosted up even further with the Mansabdar now. What this also means is, even if you can actually get by in a match as India without ever building the Charminar Gate, because this tech is not relying on the Charminar Gate to work. So if you want to go with the Taj Mahal, the Victory Tower, the Karnamata, and the Agra Fort, you can actually get Mansabdars now and completely bypass the Charminar Gate. Not that it's recommended in standard play, but if you're playing like Super Treaty and you just want to get access to all the other wonders than the Charminar Gate, you will be able to do that and still get access to your Mansabdars. So now we're going to be moving on to... I recall Central America didn't have anything. So now we're going to be moving on to the Incas. The Incas do get a technology, and it's pretty good. Quite impactful, actually, as you'll see. So first we're going to want to get our resources. And we're going to want to look for the nearest native site as well. We have enough here. Well, yeah. Thankfully, Native Americans can find the trade sockets right away, so we'll do that. Diary gets... I'm going to get Speedo's wins. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a bunch of Seminoles out. These Seminole Bowmen. Upgrade them a bit. Get all their techs. So here we are, Champion Sharktooth Bowmen. We could also pick up the legendary native warriors while we're at it. And now we're going to go to Great War Age. I'm going to get some trucks. Get the supply depot. Also get an oil rig. And what this technology does is it's called indigenous revivalism. Native warriors are stronger. As you can see there, it improves them by 50%. So basically what you get with the Incas is you get 2 imperial upgrades. You get 1 imperial upgrade from the legendary natives from the town center, and then you get another imperial upgrade from the indigenous revivalism, which gives you another 50% stats to all your natives as well. And to be frank and beans, I kind of wish that the Bolivians got this technology, you know, because I feel like with Bolivia this would be a really awesome technology that would synergize perfectly with the way they function. So I'm hoping for whatever reason that they give this technology to the Bolivians as well, or some other native related tech like that. And I also like the fact that because so many people were kind of worried about the Inca being relevant and kind of being phased out, this shows that the devs consider keeping Inca around for the long haul, since they are getting their own technology here, which is super duper neat. So now where we're going to now is the Danish. The Danish actually do get a Great War Age technology as well, and theirs can be pretty good for like micro, I think. I think for those that like to micro things and throw their enemies off, their tech is really going to be useful. So we're going to get this, we're going to get our Speed Always Wins, and we're going to be making a supply depot, a field barracks, and a, oh, I put an A in there. Let me do that. Get our trucks out. I may as well just build a capital and get immigrants at this point. Probably the easier way to do it. Supply depot. Get a oil rig, field barracks. So what this I'll get immigrants now. So what this technology is, it's called entrenching tools. Enable soldiers to build walls. So it basically gives all your Danish soldiers shovels that they can use to like construct things with. This case walls, so we'll try that out right now. Beef up our soldiers. Make a big army of soldiers right now. And I'll just show you how insane this ability is. So basically, if we have like this big army of like troopers here, and we're like trying to, you know, work on the front lines, what this basically allows you to do is as you're like moving up and down the map, you can basically start placing walls wherever you go, right? You can put walls here, you can put walls here, and keep in mind all these soldiers can build the walls so the walls go up very quickly, right? And this can be really good for micro because your enemy is going to have a hard time attacking you with melee units if you're putting up walls constantly. And it's also going to mess up their pathing, which you can take advantage of to snipe them, flank them, do whatever you want. You know, and you can just wall up the map like crazy with this. It's really insane. It truly is. Definitely is. Yep. For whatever reason, these walls are a little more expensive. I don't know why, but whatever. It seems to be like what happened with Malta back in the day. They had like 3 different wall options. I don't know what each of them does or why they matter or whatever, so just keep that in mind. But in general, look at what this does to the AI. The AI literally has to think about where it's going to path to now. You know, it's not as much of a straight shot anymore. And just like with regular walls, you can get bastions on them and you can get gates on them too. So this is a great way for making the map a literal fortress for you, making the game that much harder for your opponent. In particular, I like this too for treaty games because now I don't have to put bills on the front lines. I can just like make like 50 soldiers and they'll construct the walls for me. And they'll do it rather quickly because you'll have so many builders working on them. You can just let your vills stay back and work on the economy stuff, which is really nice. Yep. Yep. Just throw a wall in front of yourself, man. That's all you have to do. Yeah, see, this is the crazy stuff you can do with it. You know, you literally throw your enemy off. Now he's basically walking in the wall at this point. Great way to trick him. Really powerful. So entrenching tools is really good. One thing I will say though from a critique standpoint is they should probably add these entrenching tools ability to the labor corps unit for the Asians because that also uses a shovel. So they should definitely add that to that as well. So here's the Egyptians who also get a technology. Well, they get the Suez Canal, of course, but we'll see if that really does anything once we get to... do this. Speed always wins. Alright, great voyage. Make some trucks out. Notice how the African trucks look a little bit different than the ones for the European powers. So this is the Suez Canal. Trading posts deliver more resources, but when I saw it at least, it didn't seem like it was really impactful. Does it affect the crates though is the question. Let me just try this super duper quickly here. I'll go with the deck that has some cards like this. So yeah, the crates actually do get more resources, but I don't think it affects the trade routes exactly. So at least if you have like any sort of like late game crate shipments like the infinite ones, your crates are going to be delivering you some more resources now. And from my understanding, I don't know if this had 100 or so XP before, but if it did, this means that the Suez Canal does work. And you could totally use it in like your strategy for World War I. So now we're going to move on to the next home city. We're going to be going with the Argentinians, who also get a technology. This is the one I discovered in the last patch, and I wasn't sure if it was actually a unique technology or just a shared one among some civs. So let me just do that. A whole lot of love. Speed always wins. I'll actually build a pasture as well because this is actually livestock related. Surprise, surprise for Argentina. Get this going. Get an oil rig. So the Argentine technology is ice boxes. Cows provide more food. Cows' food maximum is improved by 50%. So as you can see right here, cows normally have 500 food, but if you get ice boxes, they go up to I think it's the cows that come after it, so we'll just delete or eat some of these perhaps. Does it affect these cows? Yeah, it doesn't affect the cows. They should be getting like 750 food. This doesn't look good. Maybe they gotta look at this. This doesn't look quite normal. But does it affect the pigs, the little oinkers, or the chickens? Let's see. So the oinkers look the same. They have about 300 food. Alright, so now we're going to be moving on to the Romanians, who also got technology. We'll want to skip over the Colombians, who do have the tech, but it doesn't do anything, and it doesn't even say what it's supposed to do. So we're just going to ignore that for now. Oh, wait a minute, Belgians. I want to do Romanians first. Let's do Romanians before we... I can't recall if the Belgians had anything. I know the Dutch got something, so we're going to have to check the Dutch out.
A fine day for a war, is it not?
Speed always wins. Let me get my supply depot, and then I'll get a field barracks. So I will get a oil rig. I'll just build a bunch of houses now. Surprisingly, these nation-state houses are still have the right model still, which is great. Let me keep building these houses. Keep building houses. Keep building more houses. See, this is the thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get to like 200 population so we can showcase the ability of this technology in full scope. So we're going to keep building more houses. I'm going to build a barracks now, and we're just going to spam out like a bunch of units. Doesn't matter what, we can do Hajusi. We can do Dorobanthi, we can do Venatori, it doesn't matter too much. Scytheman, we can get some Scytheman out. I'll just sit here in 1 second and just spawn all these units out. Alrighty then, we're at a 200 pop now, so now we can invoke the technology, which is called Zodiac of Romania. And essentially what this does, it turns all your barracks units into Great War Age soldiers. So we researched that, and now we got an army of soldiers everywhere. Super duper army of soldiers. So now we can just research, the field barracks text for the soldiers. And now we got an army of 200 troops that we can send right at the enemy with. This is a very powerful tech because it essentially has you fighting right out of the gate with the Romanian army of soldiers. As soon as you get to that Great War Age, you're going to be able to send this 200 pop army out and throw them right into your opponent, right from whatever they were, whether they were Scythes, Hajusi, Dorobanthi, or the Venatori. And you can see right here what 200 soldiers actually does. It can actually be a pretty big game changer you can use to really beef up your army with. And if we look around here, do we have any... We can even add the Oinia team card, which adds melee attack and movement speed to these soldiers as well, making them an even more formidable pushing force, really. Definitely. Fortunately, the bot is pretty smart here and using field guns to plow down our numbers, so we're going to have to aim on these properly. Yeah, see, even with like field guns, if you know how to micro-well, you can wipe them out with just going straight up soldiers usually. I think the field guns do better if you have like lots of them and you have a way of like keeping the range distance off from your opponent. In that sense, I feel like the Danish who we saw last, right, before, and their ability to use the entrenching tools to like put walls in front of themselves is probably the way to go in terms of making your field guns more impactful. Because see here, even though I'm taking heavy losses with my soldiers, I'm still able to like fight lots of field guns with them. The thing that kind of impresses me here is the fact that this Dutch bot cares a lot more about the field guns than some of the other bots that were just, you know, making Cossacks and stuff. So yeah, definitely in this case, the bot can be a real painful enemy just by making all these field guns. But I can also be painful to him by wiping out his field guns, right? Because these field guns are not cheap. There's 7. Now we switch into tanks, it looks like, and armored cars. What's that? Another field gun? Totally a mess here. And how did these soldiers do against, say, a battleship like this? This is really a battleship, right? Yeah, it's really a battleship. It says it right there. Yep, you can take out ships with these. So yeah, soldiers are pretty good. I mean, they can even go toe-to-toe with the naval units. They can take out the schooners as well. No, this isn't a Viso. This is a European light ship. That's an Aviso. Battleships also again wiped out pretty quickly here. Now we're gonna quit out of this and move on to the next civilization. I'm trying to remember if the Belgians got anything. I don't think that they did, but I don't want to lay them out, so I'll definitely check them again. I know the Germans didn't get anything, which I was also very disappointed by, but also surprised by. So, yeah, hopefully the Germans get something new as well. I'm imagining it's probably going to do something with the Krupp factories. That's what I would think, because I would think they would want to move things like the tank and the armored cars and stuff to the Krupp factory so they could all produce them with the Germans, since that's sort of their whole SID bonus. And if they do that, that would actually be a really neat technology that would give them a pretty solid lead, I feel like, in some situations in the early and mid-game when you don't have the oil to make those types of weapons yourself. And also would give you more flexibility to make things like line infantry and soldiers. That's sort of your main, yeah, this one did not get a unique technology, so we're going to move on. Now we're going to be moving on to the Serbs, who did get a technology, actually a really good one, surprisingly. And one that we didn't really see with any of the other civs. We're going to look at that one right now.
I am furious that you have driven me to take such action.
Speed always wins. I'm just going to make some more of these trucks here. So what the Serbs get is the ground-to-air cannon. Anti-aircraft guns deal increased damage to aircrafts, improving their stats, their attack stats by 50%. So let's just build a anti-aircraft gun now to show you what the base stats are. Anti-aircraft guns at base stats deal about 100 crush damage with 5 splash at about a range of 40, so it hits pretty far away. So if we research this technology, ground-to-air cannon, now it deals 150 crush damage to fighter planes, bombers, as well as Zeppelins that might be flying within 40 range of them. And this in turn gives Serbs a really good edge that not a lot of civs can enjoy, which is actually good defense against air attacks. You know, if you're dealing with a Zeppelin that could come up behind you and commit war crimes against the Geneva Convention on your civilian force and start mustard gassing your villagers, or if you're dealing with bombers coming over your buildings trying to snipe your factories, for instance, this technology by the Serbs might be one of the few things that actually really deters bomber attacks wherever these anti-aircraft guns might come from. And as you know, you can only have about 6 anti-aircraft guns in a battle. So the more damage we can add to these anti-aircraft guns ensures a wider defense, right? And also the ability for us to spread out our anti-aircraft guns slightly further to cover more range, because they don't have to cover each other as much that they can do more damage individually. So yeah, this is actually a really spicy, strong World War I power for the Serbs. Now we're going to be moving on to, I think, the Chinese. Paraguay doesn't get anything. And then we're going to check the Greeks. I think the Greeks and the Dutch have one. So I think we're almost at the end of the road. Let me do that. Let me get a speed always wins. Speed always wins. Speed always wins. Alright, there. Okay. Could be wrong about China, but I don't think oh yeah, I was wrong about China. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Alright, so now we're going to move on to Greeks, which I know do have a technology. I don't think it works, though, because I tried it and the numbers didn't add up for me. We'll see, though, anyways, what it is. Speed always wins. Alright, Great War Age. I mean, for fun, we could even put a shipyard there, too, to test it with. Yeah, we'll do that now. Also, we could use the landowner's investment to put down a dock over here, too. Supply depot. Shipyard goes over here. Let me put the dock down over here. So basically what the Greeks get access to is Gallipoli campaign. You know, the Gallipoli campaign from World War I, the one where the British basically tried to invade Gallipoli so they could capture Constantinople or Istanbul from the Ottomans. Yeah, that's what the Greeks' technology is. So what it does is ships gain more range. So in theory, ships would gain 5 more range on all actions as well as 5 line of sight. So to confirm that, we're going to try to I'll just do this for fun too. Some Picropyrans. These nasty little buggers. Yeah. So now we're gonna make a torpedo boat, a river monitor, as well as a destroyer. And then I guess we can make a dreadnought, a mine layer, and a sub as well. We could do this. This is fine. So basically, research the technology. We should notice a difference in the range, which, at least from my understanding, I don't see a numerical change here, which there should be. Hopefully, if they got a bug with that, they should definitely try to go about fixing that, because that's kind of serious. You know, people trying to research this technology and use it in their games, finding that there's no actual range increase, right? So hopefully they fix that, you know what I mean, and make sure that it's actually improving the range on all these ships. Because in theory, these torpedo boats should be doing like 7 range, like 8 range now, which is not as bad, because as you know, the torpedo boats for the Balkans just really don't hit very far. And adding a tech like the Siege of Gallipoli should normally make it a really formidable boat, right? But unfortunately it doesn't, so yeah. Hopefully they fix that tech, because it sounds really nice, especially for like deep sea warfare, you know, hitting other boats before they hit you, as well as the ability for your siege ships like your river monitors and your mine layers actually being able to shell enemy bases from even farther away than they normally could. So yeah. And then I think there's one more technology we want to look at, which is the Dutch. So this is the Dutch one. I think it was actually mentioned in the changelog, but I think unfortunately they still need to fix the thing. I don't think it... Do that. Get to work on this. I'm just gonna, yeah, I can get another truck. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna put the oil rig down. I'm gonna put a field barracks down, and I'm gonna put an assembly line down because I just thought of something. I don't know if I'm having a Biden moment or not, but we'll see. So this is the Dutch technology. It's called La Dame Blanche. La Dame Blanche. Soldiers can do stealth. So we'll try that now. We'll make some soldiers here. Can they go stealthy or not? We'll find out. They don't actually get the stealth action, which they should be able to here, right? They still get stagger, volley, melee, defend, stand ground. These don't. This doesn't. So I don't know what that's, when they're gonna fix that, but hopefully they fix that really soon because it would be really nice to see these soldiers go stealthy and just ambush enemies. Quite powerful. So the one thing I was going to check here is ask you a question. Is this counter battery fire a new technology, or was this here in the last patch? I don't quite seem to remember that, you know? Can you remember exactly if this was here the last patch? Because if it, if it was, then I probably should have noticed it more, because this one just seemed a little bit new to me. Actually what it does is it gives your artillery an additional multiplier against arty. So even a machine gun, which is supposed to be exclusively good against cavalry, once we research it, does get a multiplier against artillery too, giving it a lot more value. So let me know in the comments if you remember that technology from past versions, or if that's a new one in fact. That's the end of the line for all the new Great War Age technologies in Wars of Liberty patch 1.1.1a. Hopefully you enjoyed this trip with me through the countless civs. When the new cold fix comes out that adds more technologies, I will be sure to go over that with you as well. So see you there, folks. I'm signing off now from this showcase. See you a bit later with whatever else I got planned. Adios, amigos.